On the radio station, Mr. Mike Hogan is talking about the upcoming Leaf season. And of course, you have those frantic and rabid Leaf fans hoping and wishing for the greatness that their Leafs can give to them. As we continue on with my ride into Markham, it is now 8:46. In the midst of talking to one of the fans of the hockey team, Mike Hogan quickly interrupts him and says, just hold on one second. I think we had a situation happen in New York City. Looks like a small plane has hit one of the buildings. We will keep you informed as we find out information. Now back to the Leafs. They continue talking as I drive along, and I'm thinking to myself, who is foolish enough to drive or fly so low that they will hit a building in New York City? I mean, New York has a lot of buildings. You can see the buildings. Paying it no mind, I continue to listen to the irrational fans on the radio station. Leaf fans, you know how they are. It is now 9:03. There is no more it might be. It's a mistake. It's an accident. Mike Hogan quickly interrupts yet again. And his response at that time was, oh my God, can't be possible. A second plane has hit another tower in New York. What started off as an accident now becomes a threat. What now started off as a threat now starts to sink in as a possible terrorist act. And anything that was sports related is now shifted into what is happening in New York City. Leaf fans are quickly disposed of, which is normal most times. First round. Leaf fans are quickly disposed of. And now the concern is what is going on. Many reports come in at the same time. We are now being told that it is no longer just an accident, but a possible terrorist attack. This happened in 2001. I often sit down and I go back to the events of 9/11 because I wonder, do we realize its importance and the implications? Funny thing is, there's a personal story and connection to this all. You see, during all the frantic and frenzy, family is now concerned. I have an aunt and an uncle who work in the buildings beside the Twin Towers. When the towers crumbled, so did our hearts. We were worried and concerned as to where they were, and of course, if they were safe. That feeling of unknown and worry and pain crept in and tightened around each and every one of our hearts, especially my dad, because it was his brother and sister. For hours, we tried to get a hold of them. For hours, we were hoping to hear from them. For hours, we kept hearing more and more people falling and perishing. Do you remember where you were? Nostalgia says, or is explained as remembering something from the past that makes you instantly feel that feeling once again. Do you remember how you felt when you heard the news? Yeah? Pain. It's the only word that I can think of, and confusion. For 2 days, we searched and called with no response, no answer, and starting to lose hope that my uncle and my aunt were okay. You see, my aunt was a nurse and my uncle was a chef. It took 3 days before we finally heard from them. My aunt was overjoyed. She was so busy trying to take care of victims and people around the area, she didn't think about anything else but humanity. And when we talked to my uncle in his normal, cool, calm, and collected Caribbean accent, he finally turned to us and said, "Oh, are you worried about me? Boy, I's a cook. I have food. I'm good." I guess he didn't realize how worried we were. Well, my question to you is this: how many times do you overlook people and undervalue humanity? How many times have you yourself not realized how important it is to just be alive? 18 years later, what have we learned? We still have mass shootings. We still have people who look different, seem different, and are different from us, and we start to prejudge and predispose of them. We have people who are just simply scared because you don't look like me. You don't dress like me. You don't act like me. 18 years later, we are no longer worried about the threat of planes crashing into buildings. Now the threat is just you and me. How I see you and how you see me. I want you to look around the room. Don't look at me no more. Look around the room. These are people that maybe you know or you don't know. But I want you to look at everybody inside this room and understand that we are a mural of mosaic magnificence. And there is beauty in every single person within these four walls and beyond. And if we don't stop being ignorant and unaccepting of human life, was 9/11 anything for us to learn from? Today, as Neil said, it's time for us to stop letting our eyes tell lies. It's time for us to recognize that we no longer should be prejudging and predisposing our own human brothers and sisters. But what we should be doing is understanding that the fatalities and the pains that we have seen happen over the years should no longer continue. That we should all understand that humanity is important. Stop overlooking each other and undervaluing humanity. I still drive that truck. I still drive to Markham sometimes. But now, again, we're hearing about those beloved Leafs. And will they actually win again? To Leaf fans, keep dreaming. It's going to be a long time. But to the rest of us, Let's start turning on our radios to the beautiful sounds of humanity and stop looking at each other as problems.